Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guess what? Another Bill Crane report is on the air. My good friend Dwayne Weiss is with me, and we are going to cover some interesting ground today.
Well, we're going to try.
Not that we don't.
We're going to try.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm sort of an organized disaster here again. So, Dwayne, why don't you kick off subject number one?
All right.
In whatever order you'd like, sir.
Well, we left the show last time. You asked me what would I consider a pressing issue. And I told you, I said, I would never thought that we would actually face another civil war. And quite frankly, I'm not so sure now. I don't say we're going to, but the potential, I think, is there for trouble. Not necessarily an all-out war. But there's something called the storm, which the first time I heard about it, it was part of QAnon. Now, those of you that are not familiar with Q, don't feel bad. A lot of people are not familiar and don't understand it because nobody really understands what it is or who it is. It's a movement, as far as you can tell. But some people think that Q might be a person. And there's some school of thought that says Q is probably a 14-year-old kid, computer whiz, sitting in his basement someplace in Iowa, having the time of his life, stringing the whole country on. And it could be. We don't know.
Probably is.
But the movement has taken legs of its own. What bothered me was I watched a press conference or a report on one of Donald Trump's meetings or rallies. And he made a statement that if I am indicted, this country is going to see trouble in the streets like you've never seen. Now that's a very inflammatory statement for a president or ex-president with a lot of influence to make. Yeah. That hooked up with the fact he was wearing a little symbol that they showed. It was the storm. The storm is one of QAnon's objective, is to shooting war in the streets. Get what you want. If you don't, shoot them. And they're big advocates of that. And that's what I'm worried about, that somebody's actually going to happen. This could have been, if you go back to January 6th, with all the guns that were there, all it would have taken was some of those yahoos to really get, that mob mentality and start shooting. Then the other side would have shot back, then they'd have shot, and then you'd have been, you'd
that
have had
could have
hundreds,
spun out of control.
You would have had hundreds
quickly
of casualties there. Yeah. And I fear that someday something's going to happen. Like, I don't think Trump actually means that there's going to be war in the streets, but when he says things, there's a group, a radical element that takes that to heart, and they run with it.
You know what? When he says those things, I think we all have a shiver.
A shiver, that's right.
Yeah, and you were saying, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. So watch anything that you see about the storm. That could be serious. Now, I don't really expect it, but it bothers. I'm thinking, I always thought nothing like that ever happened in this country. But I didn't ever saw a January 6th happen in this country either.
The stuff I read about a possibility of a civil war is there was a couple of things. The New York Times podcast, The Argument, just posted an episode asking, is America headed for another civil war? And basically what everyone is doing is saying, they're kind of poo-pooing the possibility of it. But a couple of people have said, don't strike a match near it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I think we have to worry about. Now, is there some organized body of people ready to go, the minute the whistle blows, to hit the streets shooting? I don't believe that at all. I don't think there is.
I think there may be
there are
small
pockets.
There are small
Yes.
groups out there that will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
we'll-
a lot of them have flocked to Idaho.
Yeah. Idaho's big on that.
Big. I think Nevada also has got some folks like that. But I believe we need to keep an eye on this
I do too.
situation. Especially now with it being very, very obvious that Trump is running for president in 2024.
I don't know. If you love Biden, it's your dream come true, because I think that's going to give that guy another 4 years, and I don't want to see another 4 years of Biden.
I'm not altogether convinced that Trump will lose, but I think that a Trump candidacy would tear away at the fabric of this country.
Rip them apart,
something
rip us apart
fierce.
so far we'll never get back
And
together.
can you imagine the blowback from the Radical Party?
Oh my God, either.
You want to talk about character assassination? I mean, and we keep saying, well, you know, January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. Let me tell you something. There's plenty of demented shooters in the other party,
Oh,
too,
absolutely.
that if they got the chance, they would assassinate Trump in a heartbeat.
That's why this is like a powder keg.
And you know what's interesting? You and I can sit here and talk about this. Because we're practicing our First Amendment, free
That's right.
speech.
That's right.
But yet, on the so-called media outlets, we wouldn't be able to talk like this.
No.
They'd say, hold it, you can't go there. Or you can't do that. You can't talk about this. You can't talk about that. We're practicing, to my mind, a very onerous form of censorship in this country of some voices in some regards. Now, when you have radicals in this country who say, burn, baby, burn,
Yep.
well, does anybody shut them down? No. But if the other side mentioned something, it would be, oh boy, listen to him, they're saber rattling. We can't have this. And so, I don't know. But
Well,
I think it's a situation that we need to keep
keep
our
an eye
eye
on.
on.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I got something burning a hole in my
Okay, go.
pocket here.
I can see the smoke coming up.
Then we'll get back to your pile. I got this in the mail. Urgent.
I've got a couple of those that said urgent.
And you know what I said? I'm going to open this on the air. And we're going to discuss this urgent stamp.
Who's the return address from?
Lee Bellinger, 1015 Charlotte Avenue, number 301, Rock Hill, South Carolina,
Tells you
which
nothing.
is just over the North Carolina border in South Carolina.
Usually I feel those. Is there something in there? Maybe I want maybe a calendar or some stickers or something, or not. Otherwise, it just goes in the hopper.
You know what else I like?
What?
Do not fold.
Yeah, do not fold.
Yeah.
Then you open up. What the hell's in here? I shouldn't have folded.
2 pieces of paper, one of them begging for money.
I suspect that's what that is going to come on to.
Special Situation Research Report.
Oh God, I got those all. Yeah.
Well. The stock analyzed in the report is an excellent example of the kind of potential profit opportunities. I don't need to read
How
any
could you
further.
pass that up?
This is quite a confidential report here.
Oh yeah.
The interesting thing is they talk about a stock that no one has heard about. Turquoise Hill Resources. They've been up 473% over the last year. They're a copper mining company.
Okay.
The one that they're trumping is Alpha Copper, and they're pushing that. Now, what I like is when you get this big disclaimer on the back.
Yeah.
This is really good. So this independent report, Alpha Copper provided advertising agencies with a total budget of $1,066,000 to cover costs associated with creating, printing, and distribution of this article.
Oh yeah. It's
Isn't this beautiful? But this is small letters on the back.
Do you ever get those that you get a survey?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
The survey is so obvious. Should we kill puppies? Yes
Yeah.
or no?
Yeah, exactly.
Should old ladies, should we break their legs? No, yes or no? You know, all that kind of stuff. So and then, this is important, and just send us $35 to help process this questionnaire so it can get to your legislators
Yeah,
correctly.
I like that one. Yeah. $35.
$35.
Yeah, take
Or
it
more if you want to
and
send them more.
Stick it in the pile.
Yeah.
And if they
It'd go
they
anyplace.
try to convince me they're counting
Yeah.
the number of those things that come back, I mean, come on. Well, anyway, folks, beware of things like this. Beware of off-grid, confidential, special situation research report
Amen.
from an outfit that you never heard of, from someone you never heard of. And I tell you something, if you want to read it, be very cautious, okay? Because I would not suggest you follow any of the advice here.
No.
In fact, here's the best advice I can offer. Take this and heave it in the wastebasket.
Some of those stuff today I don't even open. I don't even bring them in. I go through the garage where the garbage can is, just drop them right in there because they're going in there anyway.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And I'll put the envelope in there with
There
it.
you go.
What's next on the hit parade, kiddo?
Well, should we talk about the questions coming up?
Oh, wonderful.
The voting questions.
This is good.
Of course, this being Massachusetts, there's 4 questions, but there's only 3 in the book. They couldn't get the other 4th one ready
Yeah,
before the book got
yeah.
ready.
And that was the one under the recall of the law that the legislature passed.
driver's license.
About driver's
Yeah.
license for illegal aliens. And you know what? If I want to see a plot in creating this, I don't think they wanted to air that.
You know, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I thought if you really wanted to get them questions in there, you would have got this coordinated with the legislature so you publish this, because this costs a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
With the printing, the
Yeah.
postage, the
And-
hours, man hours that went into it.
And there's a opposition to every proposition.
Oh,
here.
absolutely, yeah.
And they did not want that opposition in there being
Yeah.
read, I don't think.
Well, bottom line is, and I'm not going to, maybe Bill will, I'm not telling you who or even suggest which way you vote. That's why that's the best part of this country. You like it, you vote it for. If you don't like it, don't vote for it. But just be aware of two things, or even more. One, for every pro, there's a con. And usually it's whose ox is being gored, so to speak. Who benefits and who doesn't benefit. Why is this a pro and why is this a con? Doesn't necessarily make it bad. It doesn't necessarily make it good. It's just pro and con. That's part of what we do. We are a democracy. We speak up, supposedly. We go to polls, we vote.
Intelligently.
And we always have somebody's different opinion.
Sure.
If everybody thought the same, well, it would be some kind of a dictatorship or a
Russia or
theocracy
Iran
or
being the
exactly.
two poster boys.
They got us split. They just narrowly think in one way. So just remember, when you go to vote on these issues, just remember, things are not always what they seem.
Well said.
And they're put there purposely. Be very careful of voter questions. When you go into that polling place, read what a no means and what a yes means. Because you walk in and say, I like that. But you think, I'm going to vote yes. But when you read the little thing in which when you're voting, your yes might mean a no. Because they have a tendency to switch things around where yes means no and black is white and white is black, and it just changes everything. Sometimes it's, I think, idiocy, and sometimes I think it's deliberate.
Now, this number one, question one,
Yep.
is the additional tax on income over $1 million.
That has got a lot of misinformation on both sides.
Boy, does it ever.
Here's two of the slicks that they sent out, a yes and a no.
Yep.
If you read it and read it carefully, there's untruths, half-truths, truths, misinterpreted truths on both sides. It's not a cut and dried either way. It's how do you feel, though?
Figures lie and liars figure.
That's right.
You're right. Absolutely right. By the way, this 4% price, it increases with the amount of income that you have.
I couldn't find that in here.
I believe in some place in here.
Let's see.
To ensure the additional tax continues to apply only to the Commonwealth's highest income taxpayers, this $1 million income shall be adjusted annually to reflect any increase in. Okay, all right. There was someplace
what they're
else.
saying is that the limits
Yeah.
will change because, of course, if with inflation you would.
This is the proposed. Revenues from this tax would be used subject to appropriation by the state legislature for public education, public colleges and universities, and the repair and maintenance of roads, bridges, and public transportation. The legislature can get around this.
Of course they can.
By saying, we are already taking money out of the Treasury to address these things. So rather than have twice the amount, we will divert these funds to other things.
Oh, they can do that. They can do that with anything. They can.
Yep.
We've seen that happen. Hell, I think we even found that one time locally here. We voted for a 2.5 thing to fix our streets and roads, and it went to the edge. Went to the school.
Yep. Yep. So I'd like to hone in on question one right up here in favor.
Go ahead.
By voting yes on question 1, you will make sure the very richest in Massachusetts, those who make over $1 million a year, pay their fair share. Would you please tell me what is the fair share?
You can't define that.
No. And these, I was going to call
It's-
them a bad word, but these people keeps on drumming fair share.
Well, that's a psychological word.
Yeah, I know.
Or a phrase.
Yes.
You can't say that. If you should say, well, they'll pay more. Well, the people say, well, fair share. Oh, yeah, that's right, that fair share.
Yeah. But
it's
here's the thing. Massachusetts, extremely well-educated people live in the state of Commonwealth.
It's hard to believe sometimes, but it's true.
Yeah, yeah. Supposedly we are. Doesn't anyone get up on their hind legs and yell at the proponents of things like this? Define fair share, please.
No, that's a psychological
Yeah,
term.
I know it, and it drives me nuts. Am I the only one crying in the wilderness here? So we drop down to the next paragraph. Now, hyperbole. In the middle of the next paragraph,
Where are you on?
right, question 1, the second paragraph down on the right-hand side.
What page? Just so I'm on.
9.
9. Okay, that's what I thought. Put my eyes on here.
So put your hand on the question 1 under the second paragraph down.
Under favored.
Question 1 means every child can go to a great school.
Yeah, this is typical Massachusetts when they write something. They cannot stop with this great school stuff. That sentence shouldn't even be in there.
That is a lie.
Yeah, of course it is.
A blatant lie. It drives me nuts
Because
that
when-
they would allow that, these people, the Secretary of State
Yep.
would allow that line to be in there.
Well, this is what we do here. We don't play fair a lot of times on this stuff. And we don't kick the can down the road. We run over it with a truck.
Now, by the way, drop down to the last line in that paragraph. Question 1 means creating opportunity for everyone. Do you think that question 1 is going to create any opportunity for you?
No.
No. So that's another lie.
The only benefit we can get is maybe if it does fix the roads, maybe we won't be knocking our front ends out of our cars out of so quick. But as far as create opportunity, no.
Yeah, and maybe fixing some roads so that we don't have any front end trouble is probably going to be about as likely as a duck flying over
Yeah.
your house and dropping $3 million in your backyard.
Or maybe we can get some bridges before we have a disaster.
Yeah, before they all
Yeah.
cave in. And vote yes on question 1. Only the very rich will pay, not the rest of us. Well, there's a little bit of a hornswoggle here. Supposing that someone makes $200,000 a year. Okay, he's doing well.
Doing well.
All right.
Yep.
And his home, which he paid X amount of dollars for, is really in Cambridge or Westwood
yeah.
or someplace, and it is appreciated. And it sells for $900,000.
Yeah.
This bill will combine the sale of the house, the profit, with his income.
There is a phrase to that, to protect your retirement income, but your home is one of them. So you can say a business, but the home is not going to be figured into that.
Oh, all right.
Because that was brought up on one
Oh.
of the...
Your question 1 treats one-time earnings,
Yep.
the sale of homes, investments, businesses, pensions, and inheritances as income.
Yep.
So it does affect homes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it could.
And it
If
does.
Homes.
But it
If you've got a
takes-
second home, you're not going to get protected on a second home.
If it was an investment, I think it would be. I believe so. This may suddenly force many residents into a new, very high tax bracket.
Well, of course, if you sell your house today, regardless of whether this ever came into existence or not, you're going to have a one-time windfall that you're going to have to face the tax man with.
But it used to be long-term capital gains.
Yep.
Now it's going to be ordinary income. So now let's go back to the previous sentence. Question 1 means creating opportunities for everyone.
That's we know that's crazy.
Only the very rich will pay, not the rest of us. That's not true.
No, well, depends on
Common people.
where you're standing. If you're making $50,000 or $30,000 a year, and somebody sells their house for $2 million, they are very rich. If you're making $1.5 million and you sell a house for $1 million or $2 million, you're not very rich. It's again, it's
It is.
what color glasses
But-
you're looking through.
But still, the statement is only the very rich will pay, not
I know,
the rest of
but
us.
it's hyperbole. They do this all the time.
It is, and where is
That's why you get these things, and you
Yeah.
pull your hair out
And-
because
where is Bill Galvin when this should be proofread and this should be the hell out of there? It is not a true statement.
you're right.
It's the same as every child can go to a great school.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Passing this is going to mean that all those schools in Boston and New Bedford and Fall River, they're all substandard hellholes.
Here's
are
why,
going to be
here's
transformed.
why you have to take this with a grain of salt. Go down to the end of that statement, where the great schools.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the bottom. Cynthia Roy, Fair Share, Massachusetts, is the author of it.
Yeah,
Then you go to the other side, it's somebody, Paul Diamore, small business representative, is the author.
yep,
They got an ox in it. They got a dog in this fight.
that's right. But
So-
but they should be held to a standard of truthfulness.
Yeah, yes, this is. I guess you could do that, but it would take the fun out of this whole election.
Ah.
But whatever it is, read it. If you agree, vote for it. If you don't agree, don't vote for it. That's going to be the bottom line. No matter what we say here today, we're not going to change anybody's opinion.
Right. But my opinion is, and I agree with Paul Demore, this is an unfair, this is my words, not his. This is an unfair, arbitrary money heist, class warfare at its worst.
What bothers me now, I'll take this to the opposite side, or not completely opposite. What bothers me is that the money behind that is the big money.
Of course.
It's the Bob
Of course.
Kraft,
Of course.
what's his name, John Henry. They're putting millions and millions of dollars into this to defeat it for a
Stop
personal reason. Yeah.
Because the legislature then could say, that 4% really isn't a fair share. 6% would be a fair share.
Well, they could.
So let's adjust that.
They could make it 30% or
That's right.
50%, but you
Right.
can't go on what if they do it because
Yeah.
they're always going to, Bill, that they're going to do whatever they want to do damn well in this state anyway.
Yep. Exactly.
They're not going to listen to anybody.
Yep. All right. I had some good remarks about Cynthia Roy too, but anyway, we'll skip that. Regulations of dental insurance is question 2.
Yeah, well, I don't have dental insurance. Well, I do, but my dentist won't take it. It's
Yeah.
Tufts.
Right. You know, and I go to Tufts too.
You go to the school.
Yeah.
I got their dental insurance. My dentist won't. He's a Tufts graduate, and he won't take it.
Well, heck, why should he, you know? It's going to block him from getting any further payment because he accepts the stipend from Tufts, and that's if he agrees to work with Tufts and accept their insurance.
Well, yeah, remember, Tufts Dental School and Tufts Insurance are two different animals.
Two different things, but all under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
Is that he cannot bill you any further.
Right.
Yeah. So if you have a cleaning that's $95 and Tufts kicks in $23, well, he'd be a sucker to take it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So it's got to be something reasonable. It's got to be some room in the middle. So I wrote the following on this. Looking at page 10 and the description of the plan made my head spin. This plan should be written out in put in simple English. Covering dental work is not that complex. All this hot air needs to be condensed into a couple of clear paragraphs and some coverage/cost charts. This needs to be defeated. This is government overreach. We need to keep government out of our mouths.
Well said.
I just, this is like them saying, pay some money and you'll get a fish. Well, how big is a fish?
Yeah.
Is it edible? You know, is it dead? Is it alive? What kind of fish is it? I mean, this is a bunch of baloney over here. You've got to be a bloody lawyer to read that and figure out what the hell's going on.
What I don't like about this one, both sides, one is that it's going to raise your dental costs. You're out of 38%. That's
Bingo.
not true. That's again that's a what if, maybe sometime if the aliens land down here from outer space. It's crazy. It's not. If it does pass or doesn't pass, you're not gonna know.
No.
But I don't know, and I don't really, quite frankly, I don't care. If a company like Denton, was it the big dental insurance?
Delta
Delta.
Dental.
And I looked that up, and they gave a small percentage towards the dental procedures, and a lot of it went towards salaries, commissions. The head is making like $8 or $9 million a year.
Yes.
All that, and that the dentists say, wait a minute, you're only giving me $20 on 100 or whatever the case is. It's more than that, but I'm just using that as an example. You know, how come?
Well, yeah, well, you know what else? How come? Where the hell does this 38% premium increase come from?
I don't know where they get that.
Ooh, there's a number. Oh, that's it. We'll put that in.
But they put it out as the gospel. But again, if you think that for some reason they should spend more on the actual dental process instead of giving it back to the home company, vote no or vote yes.
That's right.
However you,
Yeah.
But read the question on how it's stated in the booth.
And bear in mind one thing, boys and girls. There is no free lunch.
That's right. There's
No
nothing.
matter how good it looks, there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Somebody pays for everything.
Yeah.
One way or
And
another.
big deal, all right? Maybe they pick up half the cost for a cleaning, so that instead of $95, you pay $50 or $45. Is that really worth the amount of money that you have to spend each year for that dental insurance? Well, yeah, but it helps in a catastrophe. Oh, great. So if I need a crown and the crown is going to be $900, and they pay $195 of it. Tell me what the hell I've saved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like Bill said, there is no such thing as a free lunch.
That's right.
We've been around a long time. We still haven't found it.
By the way, Dwayne.
Yes, sir.
Wait, flip your page over.
Oh,
it continues.
God, I couldn't wade through all of that.
And flip it over again,
Yeah.
and it continues. So, look, to me, I worry about initiative petitions. Initiative petitions are someone who has a vested interest
Oh,
or an axe to grind.
we've been down that road a couple
We
times.
have. And it's not a pretty road either.
Just very recently with the egg initiative.
Yeah, free range.
Free range
chickens.
cage for everything.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have your chickens weren't doing that, you couldn't sell your eggs in this state, and everybody voted for it.
And
oh
by-
my God, them poor chickens.
And
Oh.
by the way, is there a stupider animal in the world than a chicken?
No.
And do you think the chicken knows whether he's ranging free or if he lives in a box?
Or he gives a damn.
He hasn't got a brain that can
No.
function
If he if
to
he's,
know that.
if he's got a temperature within the range that he's comfortable, something to eat, and maybe a little water, he's happy.
That's right.
I'm sorry, she's happy because her
Or
hands.
it's happy.
Yeah, it's happy.
Yeah. Or whatever.
It's not there to get a date for the prom.
If, in fact, a chicken can be happy.
Can rationalize that, yeah.
Yes, if their brain can function and know between happy and unhappy. Yeah, they can feel pain, but I mean, other than that, do you really think that a chicken sits back, puts his feet up at night and says, you know, I'm one happy damn bird. Boy, I'm ranging free.
Well, you ever notice they'll say, or they have in the past, vegetarian fed free range chickens. Absolutely impossible. Nothing a chicken likes better than a worm or a bug.
That's right.
Protein.
That's right. And you're ranging free.
If you're out there, they picked every worm and every bug, everything that moved they ate. You can't be vegetarian. You can't be both.
Nope.
But it sure sounds good.
It certainly does. That's great. Question number 3. Expanded availability of licenses for the sale of alcoholic beverages.
I know you don't consume.
I don't. 25 years I haven't, but
I take care of your share and my share.
believe me, there's nothing I would rather have than an ice cold beer.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can, and I don't want it anymore so much. That's.
Yeah, but it
I'd rather have a
interferes with-
bourbon. I'd rather have a good bourbon or a Kentucky
Yeah.
or a Tennessee straight
Yeah.
sipping whiskey
Yeah.
than simply because beer. I have a hiatal hernia and it hurts sometimes. If it, that,
Well, there
beer
you
makes a
go.
lot of what is it, carbon dioxide? They in it, gassy
maybe.
part of the
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I started out drinking beer when I was a kid, and we'd buy a 6-pack and
Oh, yeah, I
drive
did
into
too.
the woods
Yep.
and gulp it down before it got warm, and then go buy another 6-pack. And so that when I was old enough and I decided to try hard stuff, guess what? Bang, 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 pop them down,
You
just
can't
like the
drink
beers.
that like you did the
No.
beer.
And you know what? I'd go nuts. You know what? And I always drew this analogy, is that I would become just a total other person. I wouldn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
With beer, I could fall on the floor, but I knew I was on the floor.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
With the hard stuff, if I fell on the floor, I didn't know whether I was on foot or horseback.
Hard liquor or higher alcohol content comes onto you so fast.
Vodka.
By the time you realize I've had too much, it's too late. You already got your system ready coming up.
Vodka is the You know, a tasteless alcohol. There is some taste to it.
Yeah,
I
it tastes like alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol does
Yeah.
have a taste.
But that's the last thing in the world you want.
yeah.
Because people drink it like water.
Yeah.
So what's your feeling about this?
Well, my feeling is that I was amazed when we moved here that you had to go to something called a package store, and the kids called it, or the locals call it a packy. I said, what the hell's a packy? What do you mean I can't go to the grocery store and pick up a bottle of Jack Daniels? Oh, no, you can't do that. There's only one grocery store in this town and one over in this part of the state. I said, what's going on? Is it still, you still got the blue laws here? You guys still walk around with the old Quaker hats and stuff? You do, don't you?
You know, I was in Iuka, Mississippi,
Yeah.
and I stopped at a combination gas station convenience store and gassed up my car, and they had the old-fashioned dial.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know, turn the thing and then pump. High tech, okay? The guy that owns the place, when I went in to pay, picked up his binoculars,
Oh, see how much it was?
$14.
Yeah.
I said, well, fine, thank you very much, and here's your money. I said, by the way, I said, could I have a Coca-Cola or something? He said, you're not from around here, are you? I said, no. Where are you from? Massachusetts. Massachusetts, eh? Senator Kennedy's area. I says, yeah.
And they all knew him.
I vote Republican. I said, I never voted for Democrat in my life. And he said, well, he said, I'm not going to give you a Coca-Cola. So he reaches under the bar and pulls out a bottle of whiskey and a couple of styrofoam cups, and he pours about 3 fingers in each one and said, Mr. Massachusetts, I just want to prove to you we're not all down here. Well, so he said, so what you doing down here? He said, we start having a conversation. And he said, you know, he said, the liquor laws are strange down here. I can give you a drink here, but I can't sell you one.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. So I said, really? He says, yeah. He says, what a deal these politicians have down here. Now, I'm in the city, and outside is the country. And there's a borderline. It's all the same town.
Yep.
One city and one's
15.
county. So he said, what a deal. He said, there are stores you can go in, you can buy whiskey here in the city, but you can't buy beer.
Yeah.
You got to go out to the country, and you got to buy the beer outside the city limits.
Yeah. It's.
So I said, this is making my head hurt. Is there a reason for this? Yeah. Mayor had 2 sons. One was a beer wholesaler and one was a whiskey wholesaler.
If you go back far enough, it's what goes in somebody's pocket someplace.
He said, so? He said, you got 2 people happy. He said, rather than them fighting each other and lowering the costs,
Yep.
he said, beer is out there, whiskey's in here. Anyway, we had quite a talk. I was there with him for 3 drinks worth. And
But he's right.
yeah,
Most all them things come down to whose pocket got lined at what time. Sometimes you got to go way back.
and all politics is local.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tip O'Neill was right.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, the other thing, well, it relates to this, is I am not for a nanny state. I don't like the government telling me or my town or what we can do. and how we run our own town. I don't understand what the hell the legislature's idea is to legislate how many liquor licenses a given town can have. Them crooks sitting there in Beacon Hill don't know how to put their own shoes on, are now dictating to a town, well, you can have 8 licenses or you can have 10. But you know, when you start restricting like that, you know, a little money starts changing hands, a little influence starts changing hands. That's why they're never going to give that up.
You are so right. They should make you king of Massachusetts.
I told my wife that many times.
That's right.
Well, they're not crazy.
I mean, these people have been talking about and then finally passing legislation for online or for sports gambling.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, they appointed a woman to be the czar over the
Yeah.
Gambling Commission.
Another one of my vices.
And you know what she said? Well, I'm going to have to study up on this.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
Well, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
She said, I've never been to a casino. When they first started opening up the casino, I don't know if it was her or one of the other, whoever was head of the commission said, I've never been to a casino. Maybe I should go down to Foxwoods and see what they're all about. Now, how in God's name, heaven, are you going to make any kind of intelligent decisions? You don't even know what they are.
She's intelligent enough to be politically connected
You're
to
not
get
kidding.
the
Yeah,
job.
that's true.
Yeah, and so here we go again.
Yep.
There's no gambling on the NFL season
Yep.
because she can't fathom what the hell this is all about. This is the state of Massachusetts in action.
Yep.
And how long did we vegetate over some of the other issues we've had in this state?
Oh, it goes
too?
on and on and on.
I mean, they just talk these things forever and ever and ever and ever. They talk them to death.
Yeah.
And then finally, 6 or 7 of these guys go into a dark room someplace where light neither goes nor can escape. And they sit down and say, all right, what are we going to do about this? All right, this is it. 6.7 increase, that's it. And they go back out and say, the study group has just said 6.7 increase, and they pass it. They go wham.
You know what bothers me, what worries me here, now, I'm not really worried about it, it's what I have a suspicion is that the money and the influence behind any expansion of these liquor licenses comes back to who owns the present one and who do they know and who are they hooked up with.
There's one liquor wholesaler, I think it's a United Liquor. I don't know. It's neither here nor there. But when they're talking about increasing the amount of dealerships one entity can have from 7 to 14, it's a rich guy that wants more liquor stores.
Yep.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's probably a guy you don't want to mess with that's opposed to it
Bingo.
because he doesn't want his empire.
I don't think you want to get in the middle
Between
of
those
that
two, that's
shooting
right.
match at all. So here's my thoughts. Never mind all the restrictions. Let there be unlimited stores selling this stuff. The free market will
Will
then
dictate,
decide
that's right.
how many we end up with, and the free market and free competition will set the prices that will be charged.
That's right.
Defeat this stupidity. And you know what? People's, along and about now, the third question, their eyes are glazed over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't like drinking. My second husband used to be
Yeah,
a drunk
yeah.
and beat me up, so I'm going to vote no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly
So-
right.
So question 4 is not in here.
No, it's not. So we'll have to
But
talk
question
about that
4
without
is-
any aid here.
is a question the legislature passed a law that approved driver's licenses for illegal aliens. I know we're not supposed to say that because
that's
it
okay.
hurts their feelings, but they're here illegally and they're aliens. What
That's
the
right.
hell else are you going to call them?
Uninvited
know?
guests. Undocumented yes.
Oh, I'll get to it later, but one of the entities is, and rather than using the term mothers now, is now using birthing parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way we have to talk. I mean, give me a break. But so what's this do? This allows a guy, mostly guys,
Yeah. Okay.
who doesn't speak English,
Yeah.
never has had driver training,
Yep.
probably incapable of reading
Yeah. Okay.
signs,
I'm with you.
and it puts him behind the wheel. Now, that's bad.
It's very bad.
However, some towns say you have to show identifications to register to vote. A driver's license will do.
That's the crux.
And here we go, because it doesn't say on here whether he's a citizen or not.
Again, the solution is so simple. It is incredibly simple. It's third grade simple. But you think our politicians can come up with it? No.
The great and the
Oh,
general
God,
court.
no. Oh my goodness gracious! It's way the complex question is so, and the problem is so complex it just can't be solved. Baloney. You got 2 or 3 kind of licenses in this state already. You've got probationary license. You've got junior licenses under 17 or 18. And then sometimes what they do, they take the background behind them is a different color, so the enforcement knows. If you want to give an alien license to drive a car that he approved, but you don't want him to use it to register, make the damn thing pink, yellow, blue,
Stripes.
stripes across it. And the problem is we're put on there for driving purposes only.
And you know the other way too?
And the
that's
problem.
so simple. It's on its side. Turn it
Turn
this
it the other way. Yeah.
and make it. And anybody that's got to turn that way cannot register to vote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we're going through it, jumping through hoops. We're worried about this. We're worried about that. And the solution is so simple.
Not for those clowns in Beacon Hill. It's not
That's
simple.
right.
They have to complicate everything. You know why? Because they're drawing 75 or 80 or 90,000 bucks. They have to prove they're doing something.
I'd rather see this guy that, I don't care how he got here, have to go to the registry and show that he can drive a car and read the street signs than just get in the damn car and drive. You know damn well that's what they're going to do. They do it anyway. All right, 5. They do it anyway. Christ, we got people that are born and live here a whole life. They do it, much less somebody that knows he can't get one. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll never ever forget the day I got my driver's license.
Oh, me too.
And my father's 1953 Packard Clipper. And it was a standard shift. And the registry guy, there's no written test. Okay? The registry guy and my dad and I went out, and he said, well, hop in the car, start her up, drive down this thing. The next thing I know, he's talking to my father. So what do you do for a living, sir? Oh, my dad says, I'm a plumber. Really? Well, you know what? I have a question for you. And I'm driving. And then he finally says, son, make a 3-point turn, will you? And then he goes back to talking to my father. Mm-hmm. Okay, good, drive back to the register. I drove back. That was it. Oh, and in the meantime, he says, we pulled in. What's the general speed limit? What is, well, anything that's safe, improvement, and prudent, taking into consideration weather, darkness, street conditions. He says, yeah, close enough. And then a couple of other questions. There was, and at the same time he's asking me the questions, he's writing out my pink slip.
Yeah.
It was a demanding test, I'll tell
We
you.
actually had the state trooper do but they only came in once a week.
Yeah.
And they were only Tuesday mornings, I think it was Tuesday morning, from 8 to 12, they would do driver's tests. The rest
Do you
had-
know it may have been a state trooper?
It could
Yeah,
have
it
been.
was a uniform guy
Yeah.
anyway.
And it was the same thing. I mean, but we had to actually take a written test first to get a permit. You could do that at 15 already.
Yeah.
But at 16, the day after 16, if it happened to fall on Tuesday, you were lucky because you get your license that first on your birthday. If not, you had to wait till next Tuesday to get it. But that seemed like a long time.
Hard duty.
Oh man, Tom.
I tell you, I was driving on the streets of Norfolk when I was 14.
Oh, we were driving.
Harold Campbell, the police chief, well, it's my grandfather's best friend. We were talking one day, and he says, Billy, don't leave Norfolk.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He
Here.
says, anything happens here, we can take care of it, but don't leave Norfolk. That was my instructions when I was 14 driving. But anyway, so look, folks, the governor vetoed this bill, and the legislature overrode it. It's going to become law unless we stop it. I say vote against this proposal. Oh, is it
Be careful. This one's written.
add for driver's license question?
Oh, we don't have the. I think this is one of them. You got to be awful careful how you vote because it's flipped around.
Okay, here it is. It backs the new law allowing residents without legal immigration status to get a driver's license, while a no vote would repeal the law.
Two. Yeah. Okay, I'm still confused, but
Yeah, well, if you vote yes,
Yeah.
you're saying the law stays in.
and the law says that they can.
Yep.
Okay,
And if you vote no, the law is repealed.
and they can't get a driver's
That's
license.
right.
Okay.
So this was written as an affirmative
Yeah.
action.
Right.
All right. So it's deceptively described as a route to safer roads.
Okay.
I wonder how that works.
Not.
More hyperbole?
Yeah.
Fun with words? Yeah.
That's politician 101.
Well, we didn't make much of a dent here in the first hour.
Actually, we got through the
yeah,
questions.
we did.
We were about out of time,
That's
but
it.
we did get through the questions.
That's it. Folks, we have reached the end of the first hour. So why don't you take a break? Go get yourself a donut and refill the coffee cup, or Thelma, maybe you can revisit the Jack Daniels bottle and warm that baby back up a little bit, and we'll be right back. Oh, go to the head too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it. Bang.